Hi, this is Mr. Nazarian. Our lesson objective today, I can solve real-world word problems. Some of the other standards that will go with this are I can fluently multiply multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm, which 5th grade standard numbers base 10 B5, and I can divide 4-digit dividends by 2-digit divisors using multiples, which 5th grade standard numbers base 10 B6. Alright, and depending on the word problem, we'll have to figure out which one of these standards we'll be using, which one of the operations we'll need to use. So, first one, Grayson created 4 drawings of humming hippos for his cousin. Well, they loved him so much, several more of his cousins said that they wanted to have the same drawings, and could he please make them the same ones? He agreed to make the same drawings for 14 more cousins. How many humming hippo drawings did he make in all for all of his cousins? So, this one is a little bit tricky, and it just is a great example of how when we are solving word problems, we have to make sure that we're reading them very carefully. I would recommend reading them a couple times just to make sure that we're not missing anything and that we're really clear on what it is that we need to do to solve the problem. So the very, very first step, that's the most important when you are solving a word problem, is to look at the question. So a lot of kids say, well, the first thing you want to do is find the important facts, but we're not really sure what the important facts are until we know what the question is. So the question here always comes before the question mark, right? It's usually at the end. How many humming hippo drawings did he make in all for all of his cousins? Now, I kind of gave you an extra hint in that I said I put all again. So probably a good cue that I want to know about all the cousins. So then once you have the question, you go, okay, I know what the question is. I know what it is that I'm supposed to be finding here. Now, what is the important information to be able to solve this? So I look up here and I say, okay, Grayson created 4 drawings of his humming hippos for his cousin. So that is probably pretty important, right? That there's 4 drawings that he created for his cousin. So I'm going to go ahead and underline this with a different color. I could circle it. Something that really draws my attention to, that's important. Make sure to include that when I'm solving this problem. Several more of his cousins said that they wanted to have the same drawings, and could he please make the same ones? So we know that his other cousins want him to make the same 4 drawings for them. He agreed to make the same drawings for 14 more cousins. Okay, this is important. This 14, right? But here's the part that could get tricky, is it says 14 more cousins, right? So this is probably important. I'm going to just underline this whole thing. 14 more cousins want those same 4 drawings, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give you an opportunity to solve this problem on your own. So the question, remember, is how many humming hippo drawings did he make in all for all of his cousins? Go ahead and do your best. Okay, so this is what mine's going to look like. So first of all, I know that he's making 4 drawings for each of his cousins. I know that he made 4 for that first cousin, right? But then there were 14 more. So as an expression, it would look like this, right? We practiced that earlier, writing mathematical expressions. So it looks like 4 times the 1 plus 14 cousins, right? The first cousin and then the 14 additional cousins that they said, me too, all are getting those 4 drawings. So using order operation, I'm going to do what's in the parentheses first. That's the same as 4 times 15, and 4 times 15 is going to give me 60. Okay, so the answer, and I should need to add this, is, remember the question, because 60 what? 60, Chihuahuas, what, 60 what? So the question was how many humming hippo drawings? So 60 drawings would be appropriate for an answer for that. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working on. Oh, actually, sorry, we have a whole nother one. So next problem, it says Danielle baked 450 cupcakes. She wanted to give them to her 30 classmates. Of course, she wanted to make sure everyone received the same amount of cupcakes. How many cupcakes should each of her classmates get? So, again, the first thing I'm going to do is look at what? The question, right? how many cupcakes should each of her classmates get? So I know that I want to know how many cupcakes each classmate gets. Okay, super important. So then I'm going to look through this again. Danielle baked 450 cupcakes. That's important, right? She wanted to give them to her 30 classmates. Also is going to be important because I want to know here, remember, how many cupcakes for each classmate. So I've got the number of cupcakes, I got the number of classmates. What kind of math am I going to need to use to solve this? So remember the question is, how many cupcakes is each classmate going to get? What kind of mathematical operation am I going to use? Okay, I'm going to use division, right? Because if you ever, and remember, always checking for reasonableness. So if we said, well, I'm going to multiply, and we multiplied 30 times 450, I would get a number much larger than 450, right? I would get the 30th multiple of 450. So that would mean there'd be thousands and thousands of cupcakes. Well, remember, Danielle does not have thousands of cupcakes. She has 450 cupcakes total. So this is the dividend. To find out how many each one is get, we're going to divide by 30, right? So it should look something like this. So that's the first most important thing, is figuring out what operation we're going to use, how are we going to solve this, and then it's just a matter of using the tools that we've been using to solve multiplication, division, and so forth. So I know that 450 divided by 30, which multiple would be a good multiple to use here? Actually, go ahead and solve this. Okay, so a good multiple to use for this might be, remember, at least to start off with, is the 10th multiple. 10th multiple would be 300. That's relatively close to 450, so I'm going to use that. 10th multiple is 300. I'm going to subtract that to find the difference. Get 150, and check that out. I know that 150 is half of 300, so that means that half of the 10th multiple would be the 5th multiple. It's going to be 150. I have nothing left. And that means, whoops, that means that the quotient is going to be 15. Okay, so that we're going to work more on solving word problems tomorrow. See you then. Bye.